So as far as how this Datacomp is going to work, we have each team is going to be up here. They're going to have exactly 7 minutes. I will, if you're a team and you go over 7 minutes, I will cut you off. So try and be mindful of your time. Additionally, each of our judges will score the teams. The scores will be calculated, and then that is how we will determine who the winners are. There's also a crowd favorite prize, and that will be, that's used, there's a survey on the Rezo app, and so you can only vote once. So hold off on voting until the very, very end. Because if you vote prematurely, you can't take back your vote. I'll go ahead and remind everybody where that survey is on the Rezo app a little bit later in the competition. But if you haven't downloaded the Rezo app, download it now. That's the only way to vote. There's a significant prize for crowd favorite. I also really want to thank the MLS data providers. So competitions like this are really difficult, especially when you're trying to use MLS data. And I'm really thankful that we obviously have Sandacor that provided us local data, ABOR, ARMLS, and San Francisco Association of Realtors. So I want to thank them for making their data available because, again, they're putting out this data and allowing each of the teams to use it in any way that they wanted to. So, again, I think we should all give them a round of applause. Again, the awards, we have $25,000 we're giving away, which is, again, so thankful because it brings out people and it gets people motivated to come and build something awesome. The last 30 days, people spent time, they spent time at night, spent time at weekends building a product. So they're doing that because we had super generous sponsors, RPR, FBS, Stratus. That money to help real estate innovation we're so grateful for that and we're super thankful. And again, much like it's a field of dreams, we went to the sponsor like, can we please have some prize money? And they're like, what for? And we're like, well, we're not sure yet. We'll figure it out on October 17th. So got to thank them for helping bring people into this room and create really interesting products. So thanks again to RPR, FBS, and Stratus. Oh, okay. A little out of order, but sure. Again, this is for the crowd favorite, this is the Rezo app. You're actually going to go to, we had a little bit of thing. So there's a sessions tab, which is that little thing, *1 on the second row. You're going to click on that. Then there's going to be a Datacomp sessions, and you'll see a survey tab in there. That's where you're going to find that crowd favorite to vote. The judging criteria is based on this criteria. So 30% for originality. It's somebody bringing something that hasn't been done a million times. Execution, is it seem like a product that can actually go to market? Was it well thought out? Is it well developed? Then you have obviously data use. It's really important that one of the stipulations for this contest is that every team uses one of the Rezo approved APIs. So that would be Bridge, FBS, and RPR. So they must use one of those. So obviously all teams should talk about and demonstrate how they used the listing data that was provided by our data sources. And then obviously presentation, and that's worth 15%. Every time we do these competitions, it's always great to have amazing judges, which I'm super thankful for. I was just telling the people at the front desk here who are judges that when I was talking to the teams, having like industry experts come and talk about your product and review your product is so valuable. So I want to thank them again. We have Mark Birschbach. Did I say that correctly? Awesome. Yes. We also have Kyle Campbell from Hack Capital. We have Chris Heller from Heller Real Estate Group. We have Craig Rowe from Inman. And last but not least, we have Glenn Shimkus from DocuSign. So can you please give them a round of hand? We know they're super busy. Come here on a Tuesday and judge. And I believe that is our last slide. Okay, awesome. Great. So I walked around earlier, gave everybody a number. That's your order. So keep that in mind. Our first our first presentation is by Inside Maps, so if you guys can make your way to the front of the stage. And on deck, we have Davis. There we go.
Oh, can I have the laptop stage here? Got it. Thank you. Hi, I'm Gabe Knox with Inside Maps. I'm thrilled to be here while he's setting up the tech for the screen connection. I'll go ahead and just first by saying I realize we're a little bit outside of the data box for this competition, so I apologize in advance. I hope I don't offend anybody. We're here to give MLS stakeholders what they really want: richer, proprietary content and an easier way to get it. When we started developing for this competition, we were surprised to learn that there are no Reso-compliant API sandboxes offered for developers to innovate better ways to add the deeper content that we want, only to download the familiar data that we have. My goal here with you is to both show and invite you to directly source home data and integrate it into MLS using just an iPhone and the Inside Maps MLS connector. Great, my screen's up. This looks like a familiar venue. I scanned this just a hour or so before we got to the competition. And this was scanned just using an iPhone. And the reason I'm showing you this is I just want to provide some context for the technology. Using 3D tours like this, scanned with the iPhone, we generate awesome videos like this. And while this is playing, it's really the purpose just to show you the ultimate final product of what we can do using 3D tours and automating the playing of those 3D tours. It's a great leverage point for realtors to actually want to use this technology. And the reason we want them to use this technology is so they can get the data. If we deconstruct everything that's behind this video, you'll see some really interesting content, and I'm excited to show you. So, behind that video is a full 3D model that we've constructed. This is a semantic model, meaning the walls are walls, the doors behave like doors. We actually count up the fixtures. Everything in this model is a recreation of the space. And you can measure and identify all the features within this model. We can generate a model like this in just a couple hours, and to do a scan, it only takes 35 to 45 minutes, depending on your home type. So with this model, we combine it with a menu of other media for the realtor to use to market the home. The 3D tour, the 3D model as you've seen, full HDR photos captured from the tour. These HDR photos can be limitless in how many that you capture, and they just look as stunning on your own home as they do in this example. In addition, the video tour that you've seen and floor plans, all extracted from your iPhone. These floor plans identify the rooms based on the input from the user interface on the app, and the software stitches all the information together and adds the measurements. Now, what's really cool and what we've developed for this competition is the Inside Maps MLS connector. And so what you're seeing here is a mirror of the typical MLSs that we see across the country. This one happens to be Netris. And what you see is that I can look at the different homes that I've scanned. I pull up 100 Oak Street, which is the one that we just saw, and hit fetch. And the MLS input that the agent would see is automatically populated. with the rooms and the measurements and the features that go with those rooms, which means that a real estate agent can go out to a home and never pull a tape measure, not have to keep a log of his room measurements and his room features, and simply scan with Inside Maps, upload their project, connect to the MLS, the Inside Maps MLS connector, and automatically populate their listing. Now, while this isn't fully integrated into an MLS yet, I'm here to invite MLSs to collaborate with us, let our developers work with you, and we can build this together. Also from this page, the Realtor has full access to all of their marketing documents to easily drop into their MLS listing, including the video, the floor plan, and their 3D tours. If you think even beyond this, using this app, we can gather data that MLS hasn't even thought about. By taking pictures of the appliances and the serial number tags on the appliances, we look these things up from the manufacturer's website and put it all together in the same data report. So if you think this through, by sending a realtor out to do a scan and generate awesome marketing content to the MLS, we can deliver richer proprietary data that nobody is delivering with just no extra expense, no added work. Typical charge to the realtor for the full marketing package: pictures, photos, 3D tour, video, and MLS integration is under $100. Scan time, less than 45 minutes, delivered the next day. That's all I have for today. Thank you very much, Josh, and thanks for your help in getting this together. Yeah, have a couple minutes. Anyone have a question?
Check. Oh, wow. So when you were showing the sort of property details page there, is the idea that you're looking to input that into the MLS, or that's being pulled from the MLS and being matched into your system?
So we are generating the data, and so the goal is provide MLS with options they don't even have right now, and create a very efficient way where anybody can publish that to the MLS.
Got it. So you're looking for a way to input this data into the MLS as sort of custom fields.
Well, we've mapped MLS for as it is, and so we tailor the data for the MLS using the MLS's current fields. And in light of all this new data that's possible, we invite MLS and Rezo to determine new standards for the data that they want, and we'll be happy to adapt our product to deliver it. Anyone else? Great, thank you.
Okay, so next up we have Davis, and on deck is Swimlanes.
Hi, my name's Art Davis. I'm a developer. I went to school, started going to school in 2010. I had a business before that, and up here, I had a business for that and rode it downhill along with all you guys in the crash of 2008. And in that time, we also bought a house out in San Diego, East San Diego here, in 2011. So I've gone through the whole process. My former business partner was a mortgage broker, so I've been through a little bit of it with you guys. Let's see. Let me get to the right screen here. This application here was something that we won a hackathon in June, and it was a project to value commercial real estate with using IoT data. And that was San Diego is a big launch here. It's going to be live by the end of the year. And every light pole in San Diego is going to have IoT sensors on it, cameras, microphones, whatnot, along with some of their data is going to be pre-processed. So we did a project for that, and I built some comps for this. I guess I could just kind of go there. No, we'll go here. Well, we built some comps, and then when I heard about this competition, I thought, well, I'll finish the app. So I got to last week and realized that you guys were just having housing data, so I rebuilt the app to try to apply it to housing. What I'm doing is trying to show listing data on an interface for people that are shopping for houses and be able to kind of combine it all into one screen so they can look at all the things that go into buying a house. Where someone comes out, when we were shopping for a house, we went and drove by at least 12 or 14 houses, never came in them. The first time we walked in a house, we got to the living room and bought it. So a lot of times you think of these things as being emotional responses, but there was a lot of kind of going to ground for the information that my wife did and I did, and it ended up that we found something that was listed as 5 bedrooms when we were looking for something at 2 bedrooms and a garage. So these back bedrooms were something else, and so it's interesting to be able to find out ways to discover these things and perhaps correlate them and put them into a UI like this. So what you're looking at here, the little dark colored houses, those are all picked off the Bridge API. I just got into that data set last night after dinner, and that's my first bite out of the information. And so these are, I guess the first 3 pages. You get the Bridge API in pages, and so it's the first 3 pages. The little purple houses there are what I'm calling a local resource, and that's garnered from the Yelp API. And right now, I guess it's set for coffee, and it was for the commercial data to try and find a potential competitor. In this case, maybe you want to have a house next to a coffee shop, and let me see if we can. Blow this up. It's not going to. So you want your. Here we go. So what I've done anyways is incorporated a number of APIs, Google Maps, and there's some heat mapping in here, also a Twitter API and a Yelp API. And by bringing in some social media data, some other types of information, if we're looking at a place, by bringing it, well, first of all, let's go through the, what we can do with the filters here is you can kind of filter your search to find something that's, maybe more in your price range here. What does a 3,000 foot house go for around here now? Something like that. So we can start kind of filtering down the data. I wish I could blow this up a little bit and get it to look, but it's not mine. Yeah, okay, thanks. Yeah, and so really all we wanted to do is produce this type of information, get some reliable information in here close where if, say if you're disabled or something, you might want to be by a hospital, you can look for that and have it exposed on the screen in a map. Or if, and basically it's just attaching another source of data and adding metadata into the listing metadata to try and make your decision a little bit less emotional. That's about it. Any questions? Thanks.
Thank you. So next up we have Swimlanes, and on deck we have Inflection. What was that company?
What was the last one?
Davis.
This is
Hi, my name is Ashish Antal. I'm the engineering director at MLS Listings. And the concept I have here to present is basically a blockchain framework that will allow real estate industry to track the events that are related to a listing through a blockchain. This platform basically enables multiple organizations to collaborate on a single blockchain. And the interface that you're saying, I'm calling it Swimlanes just for the obvious reason, because all these listings, when they are marketed in the market, they have a different life cycle, and in each life cycle they go through multiple events. So being off market, they could be upgraded, or there could be a new lien on property. So if there is a company that is recording that in the chain, can appear on this network. There could also be activities like going from active to pending to escrow can also be tracked on this chain. We can also have brokers participating in it, so when they see an off-market listing, they go sign a contract, they can put that listing into coming soon status, and then MLSs can actually monitor those events and assign MLS numbers to those listings. And all that, if you see on the left side, can be tracked in a chain. And each listing on this chain is assigned a unique property identifier. So all these players can actually connect to the chain using the same identifier. So this project here actually is using APIs to pull the data from providers, and I'll quickly go into this. So this is a Bridge API, and you can see if you were like a mobile app developer and you were building a search engine, if you had a connection to this chain, when a listing shows up on this, like I'm searching for all the streets starting with Ash, and I can see that there are some properties that are available for download into the chain, but this one already shows a link. So if I clicked on this listing, it'll show me that this listing was registered into the chain, and it's a bridge listing, and it's currently active. I can actually click on this, and then the chain goes and communicate with the APIs using the identifier and brings the listing information back into the UI. So it's communicating to the web API in real time to pull the information. Now, if I wanted to see what happened here, it actually shows that come on. I'll not go into this functionality yet, but how does it start actually? First thing I'll do is I'll go pull an API, a listing from the API. The listing will show up as registered, and as soon as listing is registered in the chain, a block is created, and inside the block is the action that was executed in the chain. So you could see that this listing was recently registered into the chain. And now, after the listing has been registered, and if I was a broker, I could go and sign the contract for this listing and drop that into a coming soon panel. This, if an MLS was monitoring the listing, would then go and assign a MLS number and then basically move it into an active status. And every time the listing is receiving, you can see that the block is created. And each block has information about what happened there and who created the listing and when it was created. Clicking on any single listing will show like entire history. So if the listing was going through multiple changes, like going to update, yeah, that happens. Yeah, so if listing was going through like multiple changes, you could track that into the chain, go from active to pending, and then maybe drop it into escrow. And let's say a title company was also playing in this chain. They could then immediately say, okay, deed recorded. And from there, listing can then mark as sold, and then listing goes back into off market. So this here shows like the entire life cycle of a listing being created, going into pending, and then being sold into the market. And entire history here is shown on the blockchain, and then using the reference pointer, you can actually go and query the listing in the chain itself. This here has actually listings from multiple sources. So in a chain, you don't know where the listing is coming from. It could be coming from Spark. So these two listings are basically, they came in from Spark. And you could then communicate with the Spark API to fetch the information, coming in, and then you can see that listing, what the current status was, and then what the information is that was entered into the chain. So the detail of the chain is not visible to the user. All user is seeing is that their listings are recorded in the chain, and then each listing has a history, and the detail of that listing. So the real data is not required to be stored in the chain. One of the things that you can do now is, we recently came up with the PUID. So yes, so you could go and register a property in the chain using the PUID generator, and it follows the rule of generating the PUID, and it's as simple as providing a county and the parcel number. It automatically figures out the FIPS code, and the listing gets registered into the chain, and get assigned a PUID, and then you can see that listing is showing up in the chain. So this is basically bringing all the real estate data into the chain and making people join and provision into the chain and sharing these event catalogs together. Thank you so much.
I just have a quick question. Can you quickly talk about maybe the prerequisites in how the implementation of this thinking would be adopted by Rezo, and also just like with the platforms that you connected to, both Bridge and Spark, what features within those, like how did that work, and what were the sort of prerequisites there, just for the benefit of the group?
Yeah, sure. So this diagram here actually shows what this application is doing. There is an OData entry point where the application is pulling the data. So all the participants, if they are adopting Rezo standards, it's very easy to communicate with all these APIs. So one of the things would be to make sure that we have API partners who are participating in the chain, and then we follow with the Rezo to come up with a standard for logging these events. And if Rezo can decide, okay, these are the set of events that can be recorded in the chain, and this is the payload that needs to be attached to the chain, then we can continue to grow that chain, and nobody has to change their existing system. All they have to do is provide that minimum set of information that is required to track these listings into the chain. And you can build the entire audit trail of all the changes that happens within a property. So connected data is wonderful. That's what the presentation was about. And this is where you can go and connect all that together, data together, and have timely and secure information available to the partners. When you build an app, the app will immediately get a notification if a listing goes from active to pending, or if a price changes. So this is what this whole concept is about, providing that event catalog to distribute the information across the industry. Okay, thanks. Thank you so much.
Okay, so now we have Inflection, and up next we have Show Me the Money.
I didn't make Google, but that's there temporarily. My name is Seth Siegler. Just a quick caveat, if you see me checking my watch or phone a lot, it's because my wife's due date was yesterday. I am on call, so I might run in the middle of this, but we'll see. Anyways, so everybody always says that real estate is a local business. Real estate is local. Everyone's heard that. That's actually not entirely true, though, if you think about it, for both sides of the transaction. International buyers buy real estate in this country all the time. Most people in this room know that's a pretty big opportunity. That being said, the process of dealing with an international buyer as a buyer agent can present certain logistical challenges. For instance, the international buyer doesn't live in this country. That's sort of the definition of that. They may not be able to necessarily jump on a in-person showing with you because they live in a different country. They might not speak whatever language you speak. That's another sort of logistical challenge. In the last couple of weeks on borrowed time, thankfully my wife didn't go into labor, I built a platform that addresses some of these challenges. It's called Inflection. The general idea is that by using an app on the buyer agent's phone, the agent can take a buyer who can be located anywhere else in the world at that time on a virtual showing using a peer-to-peer WebRTC video connection. I overlaid that with a real-time language translation tool, and of course mixed in some rich contextual MLS, Rezo certified data from Bridge Interactive, and public data from that same API. So I'm going to jump onto it here. I can only hook up either my computer or my phone to this thing, so I'm going to have to sort of show you a very small screen. There's not a lot to see on the agent app, but essentially what happens is the agent will set up a showing once they get to the listing, enter in your buyer's email address, the MLS number of the listing that you're about to show, and then choose the language that you speak. So for instance, I speak English, so I'm pressing Set Up Tour. It's going to send a email, a very very purposefully simple email to your buyer, whoever they are, wherever they live. They don't need a special app or tool or even an HTML enabled email account. Sending a text-based email with a single link. They click that because they've been invited to the showing that I just set up, and I'm not connected to the internet. That's great. Is it meeting or guest? Meeting? All right. Once that connects again, what is going to happen is if you can't necessarily see this super well, but my phone using the app is now streaming live video from the rear-facing camera. Oh, of course, these things happen, as they say, right? Okay, here we go. So this is what the landing page looks like after the buyer has clicked the invite link that I automatically sent them through my my app that I was using. It's got my agent branding on it here from the Seth Lab team. The buyer now chooses the language that they speak. I'm going to keep it as English for the moment, and then I'm going to come back here in a second and show you what it looks like if I had chosen a different language. But the first thing you're going to see is that we're now streaming the video from my phone. It sharpens up as you go also, and depending on your the speed of your internet connection, which here is not too good because we're all on it. But the way this works is now the buyer is here. On my phone here as the real estate agent, I can actually see the buyer's feed too from their webcam. So I can see their facial reaction as we can sort of talk to each other. Now, if we both speak the same language, we would also have voice. This would be voice enabled. If we don't, then we've got a tool over here, which I'll show you in a moment. First thing I want to show you, though, is the Reso certified Bridge Interactive API data. We're pulling in the listing information so they can check this as they go. Photos of the listing, of course. Public records from the Bridge Interactive API as well. Maps, pretty simple stuff, right? Okay, I'm going to sort of step back here for a moment, redo this as if I was a Spanish-speaking buyer in somewhere else in the world at any moment. And what's going to happen now is this takes just a moment because it's translating every word that was on the screen. That's the first thing that it does. Now we've got the video feed again. You'll notice that the MLS information that I had gotten from the Bridge Interactive API is now translated. Same thing with everything else. But now the coolest thing is I don't speak Spanish very well. But what I can do here is say something like, and I can actually say it, ¿Cuánto cuesta la casa? Pop that in there. Now it's set up to translate that to English. Press that. And it's going to be translated, and transmitted to the Realtor on the app. Oh, but I had my ringer off. I had it muted. You can imagine that's what would happen. But and it goes the other way as well. So I'm going to try to say something here on the app to my buyer. I'm going to say it in English, and it's going to be translated to Spanish for the buyer. Oh, it's because I've got the HDMI plugged in. Your computer speaker doesn't work if your HDMI is plugged in. That's funny. But anyways, that is how that works. It translates what the buyer is asking to the agent's native language that they chose when they set up the showing, and vice versa. That uses the Google Speech API, and then is actually spoken in with the proper inflection for whatever language the buyer has used using the Amazon Web Services Poly API, which is from their AI suite. So that is it. Questions? All right. Thanks, guys.
So next up we have Show Me the Money. And on deck we have, I don't know how to say this one, Allsweed? There you go.
Yeah, I'll see if I can get that on there.
Show me the money.
No, I can't hear you, Scott.
Show me the money.
Everybody, say it with me. Show me the money. One more time. Everyone, show me the money. Or, you know what? I'm so glad you're still my agent, all right? The thing is, this is that in the real estate world, everybody actually searches for homes based on this. They search for, investors are always looking for what? Show me the money. And whenever they're searching for residential real estates and other aspects of it, they usually search for rental properties in a certain range. And they use interfaces like this. And the biggest thing is that here's Scott sends me reports like this. And I was like, oh my God, I have to sit there and use an Excel spreadsheet to sit there and translate all of these aspects of it. But there's just one question I kept on asking him, which is, show me the money. And so I asked Scott, and what we've done is taken the MLS data and integrated it into a zip code, because I'm an investor, I understand the local market, but sometimes you might not have all the data that you need. So what we do is that you can actually just put in a zip code using AMLS data, and you can press the button and shows me the money. And so what this does is it will show you the most properties that will give me the best return on investment on a monthly basis. So it literally shows me the cash flow that's available for every single property. So here you could see that this is 57% over the rental range. You can take a look at the properties themselves, and it'll show you the property data, and it integrates the monthly rental income from the previous sold leasing information, and then we could take a look at what the monthly payment is by looking at the listing details, by integrating mortgage calculators that will show you all of the other fees that are included, and the last but not least, it shows me the money. It shows me that in this property, if I invest in this, I'll get $994 a month from rental income based on what I've actually put down. You can actually change the down payment and integrate that in by either putting 20% or 30%. And some of these other values that you can start to show your investors the money is by integrating this data and using it on a VR system, so you could be at any location, sit there and say, what other properties is going to show me the money? So you could just use the VR tools, and we could use augmented reality to actually show you all of those other properties that meet that criteria. You could see here it's listed and sorted by the percentage of rental income. And what it does for investors is that instead of looking at these charts and actually searching for homes like this, they can really utilize and see properties that they're really interested in and taking a look at it. And this really works well with the new iBuyer model. And this shows you incomes that are not that great. And the ones that here at the bottom that are in red shows you that this would actually, if you purchase these things, you'll actually get negative income. So the beauty of this is that it qualifies those investors that are looking for the properties that show the money. And then Scott's going to talk about the integration part of this whole system.
Yeah, so we use the Arizona MLS data through Spark API. We pull in the sold data and we analyze it based on beds, bath, and monthly rental price, as well as square footage. So then when you're pulling in rental properties that are for sale, you're getting like a level playing field for exactly how much rent each of these would get. So at the end of it, you're not pulling and playing around with a lot of this data in Excel, but you're really searching and sorting by an end result that you can then filter down by beds, baths, and price, more in line with maybe looking at, you know, how much you're looking to invest in a rental property, how much you're looking to put down. And, you know, it really cuts a lot of time out with trying to determine like which zip codes or which areas might have more of a positive rental income on them.
And the last but not least is that you can start to take a look at AVM models and other models into this property details, so that people can not only just take a look at what the rental income is, but really what the overall investment strategy could be for some of these buyers. And especially when you're taking a look at the new technologies, iBuyer technologies, integrating something like this with the MLS data would actually sit there and provide them a simple way to show the money. So that's it. Any questions?
These are houses.
Yeah.
These are houses that were previously rented.
No, these are actual houses that actually are for sale. So what we've done is we've taken the sale data from ARMLS and then took a look at what the mortgage would be for those ones and the HOA fees and all those other stuff. And then we used regression testing for previous rentals in that area based on square footage and other criteria, and then overlaid it so that this percentage here is the percentage between what the monthly rental income in the past was to the current monthly cost that would be for this home. So this shows you the margin you could make on what the rental incomes on the average median rental incomes in that area is.
Yeah, when you put in a zip code also, it looks for the sold ones based on, the beds and square footage range based on that zip code, and it does it live based on whichever MLS we plug into, as long as it's, RESO certified OData MLS.
All right, well, thanks.
Thank you.
Okay, so next up we have, I'm going to let him say it, and on deck we have Agent Squared.
Thank you very much, Joshua. My name is Chip Allsweed, and I am the CEO of the Beverly Hills Greater Los Angeles Association of Realtors. And what that roughly means is that I get to spend every day hearing from realtors about how everything that's wrong in the real estate industry is somehow my fault. One of the most common things that I hear is that agents feel as if their clients have better access to listing data than they do. You've probably heard that comment before as well. Or that their clients are searching and finding things elsewhere and they have no way of working with it. So I called up my programmer and I said, listen, RESO's got this great competition going on. One of the biggest things I always hear is this issue. What can you do to help me with this? And so we put together this plan using the OData API and Bridge and put together an extension on a browser that captures the information of your clients, regardless of what platform they search on. A lot of agents will just send out the feeds of new updates that meet the criterion of their clients based off of what they've plugged into the MLS, and that's about the extent of the feedback they get. So what this does is it actually connects with the, it sits on top of Chrome, and we will build it out on other platforms as well. And it enables the agent to see what their clients are searching, seeing if their search parameters change, seeing if they look for something different on Zillow than they do on Realtor.com, and enables a back and forth integration between the client and the agent and the client on all of those properties in one simple central place. So the way it works is simply from the platform, the realtor can log on and invite clients to download the extension. The invitation goes out. It connects them with their realtor, and the experience on the client side is that they get from the Chrome store the ability to download the app. which on their end integrates with typical Facebook login. Trying to let it go through. And once they click in, they are able to, 1, see their realtor, 2, categorize any house that they see or property they see based off of their specific interests. Maybe they're looking for a house in one city and they want to categorize them that way, or an investment property or whatever. And they can also categorize them based off of which website they saw the property on. So whether they saw it on Zillow or any of the others, they can do it. Then when they go to Zillow, they can come in, do a quick search, San Diego, find a property that they like, and when it pops up, the extension creates an overlay on top of the listing. I'm trying to click on it here. And on that extension, or on that overlay, it has the information about the client's agent. It has an interface where they can ask questions, make comments, save it to their favorites. Here you see the overlay, save it to their favorites, or, and this is kind of a fun one, they can log in, and if they want to circle something that they really are interested in, or this is kind of nerdy, but people love this stuff, they can put, little stickers, fun things like that on it. Hit save to favorites, type a comment, put it in, and save. And then they also have the option to forward it on either on social media or email it. Now, I don't know about you guys, but my wife likes to search these things on every possible platform, and I cannot keep it straight which house she's asking me about later that day. The great thing about this is it's shared, and we can all go to the same place, and whether she sent it to me on Zillow or Redfin or straight out of the MLS, we can all look at the same information and be on the same page about that particular house. It also goes through and grabs similar houses that fit the criterion similar to the house that was just favorited or searched. And then if we go to Realtor.com, do a search there, find something else, same process, save to favorites. I'm just going to quickly save them. It works on any possible place you can look. The nice thing about it is it then comes back and it coordinates it all for you, has the information, you hit it, you go, it pulls up a snapshot, and then if you want to actually link back through to the property, it'll pop it right back up in the place you looked for it. For the realtor on the back end, they're able to come in, see what I liked, pop it open, see the information I've put in there, and categorize it based off of the information put in by the client. The other thing that gets very fun about this is it enables you to request a home report. So if there's specific reports out of RPR, sorry we didn't get that API, Caesar, you can get mad at me later, or a Zillow report or a specific report you want to tap into, with a simple API connection, you can build it right in, or schedule a showing. So it enables the consumer to search where they want, or where they feel, or where they end up. It enables the realtor to know where they're looking all over the place, and it allows for collaboration and communication all around on any listing, on any platform, so that everybody is operating with the same information and better servicing the clients as a result. That's home fave. Does anybody have any questions?
Yeah, how does it work on if they're searching on their agent's listing pages?
Same, it would be same situation there. Now, I put in here Sandacor because we were using that feature. And same kind of thing here. I'm just simply searching for whatever. And we'll go with this one, whatever this is. Save to favorites. I think it's going through. Okay, this particular feed one isn't working necessarily, but it would use that MLS's API if they grant it to do that, and can also integrate back into the CRM if there's a native CRM inside of the API as well, or inside the MLS as well.
And mobile?
That's the one thing that we have not gotten to yet is mobile. So that's hopefully something we can build out soon because plenty of people are looking on their phones. Yeah.
What's the criteria for similar homes?
It just takes basic information about that house, bedrooms, baths, price range, location, and finds similar homes nearby that the client may be interested in. Yes?
Two questions. How does it know it's a property listing? How is it actually identified? Let's say you see a listing on Facebook, for example. Is it going to recognize that as a property listing?
Well, it would be for sharing on Facebook. It doesn't actually go to Facebook as a search engine for a house. It would be your typical platforms that are out there that offer the API.
So then, okay, so all IDX feed?
Yep.
The IDX feed is going to know it's a property listing and it's going to...
Yep.
Second question is, how do I sign up?
Talk to us after. Yeah.
Yeah, quickly. So I love the user experience. The idea of an agent following me around with my search, I mean, no-brainer, makes a lot of sense. How do you reconcile the issues of like what happens when these people change their websites or decide no and like block your Chrome extension? How do you sort of address those concerns?
Clarify for me what you mean.
So, you know, your Chrome extension layers on top of the existing website.
Mm-hmm.
Website changes or fundamentally says, no, this Chrome extension can't run because they have the ability to do that. How do you address those things? Have you had conversations with the websites that you're sort of modifying and overlaying at this point?
Well, at this point, no, because it's been a couple of weeks. But, I mean, we are using the Bridge API. We are planning to incorporate all of those.
So you're looking to have those conversations with people right now, right?
Absolutely.
Awesome.
All right. Well, thank you guys all very much.
Okay, thank you. So next up we have Agent Squared, and on deck we have My Drawbridge.
Hi, everybody. I'm Troy McCaslin, CEO of Agent Squared. Welcome to San Diego. This is my hometown. I'm excited to be here and share with you a demo. I'm going to demonstrate a brand new app called Instant IDX Freemium. All modern software today is built using frameworks or building blocks that make it faster and easier to build software applications. And so what we've done in the demo I'm about to show is used an older version of Agent Squared, forked the code, created an entirely new product with new features and functionality. This app, like the name implies, builds an instant IDX website for free. Now, this is a really big problem that we solve because we all know that consumers are searching online for homes. 90% are using a mobile device. Yet only half of all agents in America with active listings have a website. And half of those aren't mobile friendly. And the reason is it's just too hard to build a website. It's too expensive, and the Reso API makes it much easier. This application runs on Amazon Web Hosting Services, and it automates every aspect of building an IDX website. Automatically registers the domain name, automatically creates an XML sitemap, automatically submits it to Google, Bing, and Yahoo. So the old way of building websites is you fill out a form like this, and you fax it to your MLS. The MLS faxes you a contract back. You sign it, you send it back. They send you what amounts to a RETS FTP login and password. You give that to your developer, and he uses Wix to build an iframe website, or he uses a WordPress plugin, and it can take weeks or a month and thousands of dollars. So now, thanks to the miracle of modern technology and the Spark API, we can build a website instantly for free. And so what I'd like to do is do the demo now. Okay, so this is running on alpha on Flex MLS using armless data. And you see a button here that says Agent Squared. And so when you click this, so in a normal production environment, it'll SSO into the application. So let's see, let's hope it works. And so what it's going to do is probably make me re-log in. Okay, so I have to re-log in. And again, in a production environment, it wouldn't do this. It's only doing this because it's on alpha. Okay, so now what the app is doing is it's accessing the Spark API. It's slurping up all the information about me as the realtor, all the homes I've ever sold. It's formatting that into a beautiful mobile-friendly website that includes the copyright notice and all the IDX disclosure requirements required by the MLS. And those IDX disclosure requirements are part of the Spark API. And so for the MLS, what this does is this saves them the time and money and hassle of looking up their members and faxing the forms and then inspecting the websites to make sure that they have their proper copyright notice. So here we're seeing the freemium product. The agent just received an email saying your website is done. You can check it out here. And so when we check it out, so this website was just built right now on the fly, and we can go in and we can search for homes. So this is designed as an agent who's just starting out. He needs a website. He wants to put it on his business card. It uses a subdomain in Agent Squared, the agent's first and last name, so he can put that on his business card. And the search, what's really cool about this application is the search is customized for each market using the Spark API data. So here, if you go into land, or say residential, it's showing all the different types of residential homes that are for sale in that market. And so these sub-property types are dynamically generated through the API. And so is the listing status. And so different MLSs have different kinds of listing statuses, and these are the different types of listing statuses that the Arizona Regional Multiple Listing Service provides. So then we go to the dashboard and say, okay, maybe I'll upgrade. And so for free, we give them a subdomain, live data that's updated instantly from the MLS. It's mobile, it's SEO friendly, and includes support. The premium upgrade lets them add unlimited pages, customize every page, integrates their the Spark API, the Flex MLS API, CRM with all the contacts. And so if I go in here and hit buy now, I can type in my credit card. Okay. And so once I unlock it, then it will let me add pages. And one of the cool features about this product is you can put save searches on any page. And so here's an example of a paid site. So this is the sitemap that we submit. And here you can see this site has 10,000 pages indexed in Google, and here are saved searches that have been added from the Flex MLS API. So you log into Flex MLS, you say, give me a list of all the oceanfront homes in Boca Raton, Florida, and then you drop that on a custom page with SEO text that you've added to the page. And I guess time's up.
So next up we have my Drawbridge, and on deck we have V Realtor.
We're just the architects. Oh. Yeah.
Is this bad?
Did we break it? There we go.
Okay. Go for it.
Hello, my name is Kalen Kennedy, and I'm an aspiring architect developer.
My name's David. I'm an aspiring architect developer as well.
And we are Woodbridge. Excuse me. We're Drawbridge. We just figured that out. We're a team of real estate professionals, code experts, and programmers that have come together to draw bridges between the MLS and the data that's necessary to make informed development decisions. In any given deal that you come across, a successful deal has thousands of failed deals behind it, thousands of investigations, and each one of those deals forces the developer to be a code expert, a cost consultant, a designer. A lot of work and a lot of effort goes into seemingly dead ends to get the one deal. We sought to bridge the gap and save that work and save the effort as you move forward. So we created a nice user interface that everyone's familiar with. We've got the map of San Diego, and as I'm looking for parcels, properties to invest in, I'm interested in transit priority zones. I like the density, I like the walkability. It saves me money by reducing my parking costs, and I can make better buildings. My value just went up by limiting my search to transit priority. But all we've done so far is to visualize it. What if we could work dynamically with this? Let's actually filter and focus our efforts in the transit priority zone. Similarly, I only do apartment buildings, so show me only the multifamily friendly parcels that are in San Diego. I also only want to do an FAR of 2 or more. That's kind of where my comfort level is. That's what my investors are looking for, so we can limit our building size.
Bear with me, everyone. I've got kind of sweaty, nervous hands up here. Okay.
And so now that we've drilled down into what we're comfortable with, the types of product that we're looking for, let's visualize the value that is existing in San Diego, and let's look at the potential undeveloped land that there is.
Let me zoom in here real quick.
Sure. And now that the fun visualization has been created, let's do what we're really looking to do and find what's for sale. So as you can see today, there's not a lot on the market that meets our requirements, but that's all right. I'm not going to become an industrial warehouse developer. I want to continue looking for parcels that meet my requirements. So Drawbridge is going to save your filters and update you as soon as parcels that meet your parameters come onto the market. Now let's get to work. Let's dive into what we've got available to us today. With one click, you've got all of your zoning information, all your parcel attributes that you could need for a first blush analysis of the site. With yet another click, we're going to start to evaluate the value of that land. With one variable, everyone's favorite variable, rental income, we're going to create a quick pro forma that values the land. What are we going to ask for this one, David?
So right here, what we've got is a 6,700 square foot parcel. Asking price is 620,000, and we've got an existing building on there of 1,100 square feet. And what we're going to do is we're going to say, we think we can rent this for 2,500 bucks a month. And by just entering one number, 2,500 bucks a month, we can really start to see a valuation of what we're talking about.
How's that one doing? Doesn't look that great.
Not too good. What we can see here is that this particular listing, we would be returning 3.6% cash on cash in an unlevered deal as if we had bought this all cash.
Think there's anything off market we could look at?
I think there is. We'll go back to that filter.
Take off the 3D.
Turn off MLS.
All right, what's out there?
Well, let's take a look at that one that's by the taco shop that we like. I think it's in there somewhere, that big tall one. Yeah, so we can see here that this doesn't have a listing price because it's not for sale. But surely as developers, we can speculate on what that that parcel cost would be. In this case, let's throw 650,000 at it. Let's also come up with what we think we could probably do per month. In this case, we've got a 1,344 square foot building. Let's just throw another 2,500 at it.
And so with 2 more clicks, we're able to come to a valuation for an off-market property. But hey, what were we doing on the other one that we just looked at?
I can't remember. I keep doing napkin sketches and napkin
so
performas,
nervous
and
up
I just
here.
am full of napkins.
So many iterations. Oh, wouldn't it be cool if we could compare them side by side?
Kind of like that.
Oh, awesome.
And so now what we can kind of see here is that we've got a heads-up display comparing you apples to apples, 2 different sites, one that we speculated on, one that's actually for sale, and we're using this in a language and a format that I'm familiar with and that I'm comfortable with as a developer.
But David, I'd like to make some buildings.
Okay, now we're talking. So what we can do is pull up some work that we've saved from before. We can take a look at, in this case, a 8 dwelling unit, $1 million asking price project, 2523 L Street. And kind of what we're showing here is that we started to mock up some stuff. In this case, you're seeing one building with 4 1,000 square foot units and another version of that as well. So we've got 2 buildings, 4 units each. This happens to be Kaylin and I's bread and butter. We love this kind of stuff. It's our baby. Now we've got this kind of plugged in. The other thing we can do is start to ask questions like, well, how much am I making at $1 million? In this case, unlevered, as if we had paid cash and built the building all cash. We're looking at a 5.6% return, again, unlevered. Now what happens if we pay $1.25 million? Well, we can see obviously the more we pay for land costs, the less money we're gonna make. But what we really care about is the ability to kind of play with variables that are important to us side by side and see exactly what's happening and kind of being able to evaluate that kind of thing. So in this case, we're freezing a location and we're freezing the type of building we're building, and we're using a land cost acquisition price as a variable. The other thing we can do is pull up the same exact building, same exact performance conditions, same asking price, but try it on another site. So in this case, we'd be freezing the attributes of the building itself, freezing the land acquisition cost, and potentially putting it on another site. So, yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So, David, what else are we looking for in Drawbridge?
Next step for this is definitely BIM integration. If we have these attributes for a building, you can certainly float them up from architectural models that we're used to doing.
Wouldn't it also be great to know what the rental comps look like in our neighborhood? Com crawler would be cool.
Farm caller would be coming as well. Did you say time?
Yeah, we're good.
Okay.
Yeah.
Questions?
Thank you.
Okay. No questions.
Thank you, guys. Next up, we just did Drawbridge. We have Realtor, and on deck is Let's Butterfly.
Alright, let me go ahead and set up my mobile as well because this is mobile friendly, so just give me a minute. Alright, I think we're good. Okay, hello everyone, I'm Novia, and today I'm presenting Realtor, virtual reality for real estate. It's going to be your 24/7 online open house. Realtor aims to make VR accessible to everybody, targeting real estate agents and home buyers. There is no need for any special equipment or any installation of software. Realtor allows you to view and also to create an immersive VR environment using your laptop or mobile. Let's dive right into it. So using Bridge API, I've actually pulled in a listing of properties you can see right here in San Diego. Behind some of the listing, I've put in a 360 demo data, so let's go right into it. So on the bottom, you can see that I've put in the realtor's name and also the contact number. You can also have labels in your 360 environment here. So if I click on that, and then you can also portal into the next room. So if I go right into the bath. zoom around. Oh. So connecting to my mobile phone next. Let me just show you guys how it looks like on the phone. All right. So as you can see, using my phone, I can move around and look around the whole property. Let's go into the bath as well. So using a hover, I don't have to click. I can go into the room itself. And I'm going to go into landscape mode and do a full screen. If you can see the button on the right-hand side, that's where the magic happens. So just with a click of a button, if you have a VR headset, for example, like a Google Cardboard, just put your phone into your VR headset and you get an even more immersive experience. And you can look around the room. Next, I'm going to show you how easy it is to create a property and also a room, and also the labels and the portal. So let's close that off. All right. Clicking new. Of course, you can add on user authentication using Facebook, Google, or other types of listing. And using Bridge API, let me just key in a listing ID. I'm going to fetch the information right here. I'm going to upload a thumbnail and also a 360 image. I'm going to give it a name called balcony and click on submit. Okay. Let's go right in to annotate some labels. Right. Do chair. I really like Show Me the Money, so let's go in. And there you are. We have a label right here. And if I go in right to look at the room itself, you can see you can have the realtor's name, contact number, and the label is created. Going back, if it's just one room, it makes no sense. Let's make the whole house. So I'm going to create another room to link up with the portal. So let's go into this one. Let's link it up to the bath, why not? So 360, submit. Annotate again. Let's find a portal, a door. You can pretty much annotate anywhere. So the ray caster you see, the little circle, is where that's getting the position of and adding your labels or a portal. So I'm going to add a portal next, saying balcony. Submit. I can go right in. Shouldn't be one way, so let's make it two ways. So let's go and add back to the bath. Oh, should be a portal. And submit. And we are done. So let's take a look at how it looks like. We have the label, and this is all live on vrealtor.herokuapp.com right now. If you want to look at it on your phone or on your laptop, you can go ahead and try it out. Click on the portal, and it works. So it doesn't just, you can use other mediums as well, other stuff, which is going to show you the bonus. So instead of using just image, you can use a 360 video as well. And of course, you can still add on the label, it still works. And you can also add a portal to another video or another 360 image. All right, and that's video there. Any questions? You can use a 360 camera, and then there's a lot of 360 cameras you can get, off the market right now. Yeah, just a theater, Ricoh, that will work as well. I think it's easier to get a 360 camera compared to using your current DSLR and stitch it together. Yeah. More questions? Okay. Thank you.
Okay, so we are almost done. We have two more presenters, but before I get to that, if you guys downloaded the Rezo app, apparently the Rezo Crowd Favorite app is not working correctly, so we're going to go old school and do a paper ballot. So once the last competitor presents, I'm going to go ahead and throw up a screen that has all the names of all of the contestants, and then we'll have some people come by and collect paper ballots, okay? So next up we have Let's Butterfly, and on deck is Revant, R-E.
I'm actually connecting my phone to the HDMI, so hopefully that shows up. Second. Oh, there we go. Okay. Oh, hi, my name is Haitham Al-Baik. I'm founder of Let's Butterfly, and I'm excited to be here. Let's Butterfly takes a look at the whole real estate market. We stepped really back and looked at every component of the market to understand how it works and why it is where it is today. And we believe the market can elevate itself to become so much better. And it turns out it actually comes down to the people, and all the components evolve them. Whether you're a realtor, whether you're a business, or a local service, or you're an appraiser, or if you're an inspector, it doesn't matter. So we want to make sure that we can figure out how we elevate that. And with that in mind, we had missions. The first one is we want to make sure that we reduce as many frictions as possible, reduce amount of time it takes to do certain things in the process. Internally, we have something we call TTR, which is time to resolution. At every process, there's always time taken. And we look into how we can reduce that or even take them away as much as possible. Number two, it's about the data. And it's not just a lot of data, it's about contextual data. It's about what we can do with the data. As long as you can act on it, then it's very powerful data to use. So it's not just speeding things up, but also increasing the quality that we need to make sure everybody in the ecosystem gets what they want. Third, and most important, is education and knowledge. No matter if you're new to the industry or been in the industry for a long time, we know that knowledge helps big impact in the sale of the process. And we're going to do this in 4 phases. The first one is the one I'm going to demo today, and maybe tease the second one, depending if Josh is looking at the clock. And then, of course, the third and fourth is coming up in the next couple of years. Now, today in phase 1, we realized that mobile is the way to go, and that's why I have a mobile. Everybody's on the go. And the first thing we do when we start is at the door, even before the home is for sale. That's when the realtor, the agent, has to figure out and make a client. And the first thing they do some research beforehand, figure out what they need to know about the home. Drive over there, meet the clients, take some notes. You've seen the papers and the presentation before. Figure out what's going on, talk to them, go back again home to the office, bring up the laptop, do some research, download some third-party data, look at comps, figure out what to do, come back to the client, sit down, convince them why this is the price that needs to happen. That's a lot of time. That's a lot of time. And that's for just one home. Realtors, sometimes it takes them 2 to 3 days to get anything done. So let's see what that looks like on Let's Butterfly. So let me just go ahead. The logo is beautiful, right? You like the logo? I'm going to go ahead and log in. So I have no homes here. And the idea here is to create something that's engaging, beautiful, but also very powerful, that the complexity belies its beautiful interface. So I'm going to go ahead and just press plus. I have this pre-populated because we have 7 minutes. And I'm going to go ahead and start pulling this data. I'm going to just say continue. This is actually using the data that's provided by Rezo. Thank you so much. It's awesome. Where we can actually pull information about the home, figure out comparables, download information about, let's say, what it costs for remodels from the government data, and a lot of information. And this is happening right here on the phone. And that number you see on top, that's what we guide you for that price. instantly, right there in front of the client. This is amazing. The other thing too is it looks pretty, it's nice, it's easy to understand. Now you would wonder, okay, where do you get that number from? Now if I touch the top right corner over there, look at that. It actually based this information right here. I got minimum square footage pricing, I got the average, I got the maximum if I want, and we'll find ones that are matched closely or exact. It's hard to find exact matches, but these are close match homes. At the bottom you can see those homes are pretty far-fetched to actually adjust pricing towards them. Now this is cool too. A realtor can go in and say, you know, I want to change this, maybe enable that. The number is changing. It's actually going back, doing all the calculations right there on the phone. Really, really cool. Isn't that cool? It's pretty cool. And if you want to know what's happening, touch one of these two as well. We'll give you the breakdown, the square footage, the beds and bathrooms, or anything that needs to be adjusted, and the pricing, which is pulled in from all the government data as well. Really, really nice. This helps a lot for new incomers coming in the real estate industry to understand and be able to get clients. This will give also confidence to the client to really learn about this. You can share this to them. Now, data is one thing. But the realtor is there at the home, so we can take advantage of this. Now, these guys, for example, have upgraded their kitchen to sub-zero appliances, so they spent probably $25,000. Now, if you could, so the realtor would say, well, I'm going to touch the kitchen there. I'm going to say, you know what, this is actually about $10,000 maybe ROI on this kitchen. Great, I'm going to do an update, and you can see this plus sign over there. You know what, they also have an appearance section and a feature section. They added a pool. Let's go ahead and add a pool here. You know what? I'm going to say $7,500 because it's pretty new. I'm going to add that value for that. Great. We're not even done yet. Now, the additions I've done here, if I go back up there, you see it's updated on the top to update you. By the way, this is where the price is right now. Again, really helping educate the market. Now, when you want to sell a home, there's sometimes it's not perfect. So in this case, I can go to the bedroom and say, you know what? I want to actually do some painting on this and maybe some cleaning. Okay, update that, and you can see there's a wrench icon over there. And that bedroom, maybe I want to just do some cleaning. It's fine otherwise. And you know what? Curb appeal, very important. I'm going to go ahead and say, let's do some pruning and do update. Boom. Now this, already in a few minutes, I was able to do so much and be able to get so much value that I can share with my client and able to have a to-do thing right after this and do save. Now, this is what I've got, and here are the services that I need. Phase 2, which is the biggest friction in the market today, is right now when you want to get the actual work getting done, you have to find services, and all of them, you gotta get a phone call, you get a quote, and this is not gonna work. If you want to buy a light bulb in Amazon, you search for a bulb, you get a bulb. But if you want to fix a bulb, you don't get that. You get just business phone numbers. Now, if I say add to marketplace, it'll actually find local services who have actually productized services primarily to focus on increasing value of homes. And here they are. This is the pricing. And they have the availability when they come in. I can add them to my cart as well. And this is as much I'm going to go for phase 2 for Let's Butterfly. So that is what, I didn't mean to shut that off. I'm sorry. So we believe that Let's Butterfly really adds, we believe that every part of the industry plays a huge part to increase the value. Now these businesses are getting businesses they didn't have before. So not only are we increasing the value of the home, but we're increasing the local market, the local economy, and we're creating a relationship between the services and the realtors unlike before. Honesty, accountability, and instant gratification. This required a lot of work. So we believe that the industry, to elevate, you can't just focus on one. You got to focus on all of them. But you got to start in the right place and slowly grow. Thank you very much. So let's Butterfly. Any questions?
Most agents have a list of all their own vendors already. Can they manually insert them?
Yeah, so one of the things that, in fact, this started out in March as a company that I wanted to do as a service company. And I realized that if I did have everything like this, I'm just kind of a realtor who has this, but I realized that if everybody had this powerful tool enabled to them, it just enables anybody to do this. And internally, there's a lot going on here in terms of machine learning and how the relationship goes and how cost is effective. This has never happened before. This is a market we're creating. This is a platform. This is not an app. And by the way, this is actually a website. It's a web app. It's a progressive web app. It's pretty much serverless. It's pretty cool. It's very nice. And the interface is focused on design that belies the complexity behind it. Any other questions?
So is the agent just adding all this data, is that then shared
Yeah, so everything they're doing here, in fact, the client could have an iPad and they can watch as the realtor, so they can learn too as well what's going on, as opposed to say, oh, that realtor gave me a higher price. Why? I don't know. This will give you, this is education part, which is also very important, yes. Yep.
So are they able to tweak, I mean, you have some sort of algorithm that suggests a list price, or the word for that house. Is a realtor able to tweak whatever algorithm you're using, or is it something simple like just based on dollar per square foot?
That's a very good question. I didn't pay him. But so the reality here is that we're taking so many input data from this, and there are customization by the realtors. And what we're doing is we're actually building also an ML machine that will actually do prediction analysis and actually guide them based on the market value. So each realtor, in many ways, we want to trust the realtor. They have the experience as well. So it's kind of, we play back and forth between them. So we have to be careful how much we customize and how much we want to make sure we're driven by real data. Yes? No, realtor will pay for this. And already I have like so many people lined up. In fact, one of the realtors, actually a lot of them in KW, Ken Williams, who actually been wanting this to go production because it's going to save them almost 5 times efficiency. They're going to go get a brokerage license and hire people because they don't have to travel a lot. They can do so much right there in the client and sign them up and also get work done tomorrow. That's what we need to get done. And I think that elevates not just the house itself, but the market that the house is in. And those services, which they never, ever had something like this before because they just don't. And when you talk to them, they love this idea because they deal with the realtor. They go in, they do their work, they get out, and they know what's focused on. The price is very clear, so their ROI for them is amazing. And not to forget, I'll tease a bit phase 2 here. Imagine a buyer buying this home, and the first thing they do is they call up the realtor and say, hey, that landscaper who did the home and who fixed that, do you know, that's not the realtor's job. Open Let's Butterfly app. You know who they did the work. You can click on them. They can come in the next day and do the work or subscribe to them. We want to change this industry to make it that.
You're talking a lot about efficiency, but agents also have a lot of transaction management tools they're using. When they get back to the office, are they going to reconcile what they did to your app?
So that's the part where phase 2, 3 comes into play. We want to do the small things, the important things very, very well, and then do the other ones also and start doing the integrations. We're looking to partner with people who can execute on those very well. And we want to make sure we don't sacrifice the interface too as well, because we want to enable anybody to be able to use this. A very good question though, yeah. There was another question, I think? Yeah.
Yeah, which API do you use as the
Bridge. Anything else? That's it? Okay. Thank you so much.
Okay, last but not least, we have Revant, RE. And also stick around because we're going to go ahead and do the crowd favorite, which again will be a hand ballot by paper. So don't leave after this presentation, please.
This is?
Hi, I'm Rashmi, and I wanted to start by introducing our team. This is Kyle, who worked on the front end, and behind me, Sean, who worked on the middle tier. Our app, Remark, is a new way for home buyers to find their ideal home. And it does this by enabling the home buyer to catalog their preferences based on saved homes and then notes they can add for those homes. And then later, this catalog can be used as a collaboration tool between the home buyer and their agent. And then Remark also uses RESO-compliant listing APIs to generate suggested listings based on the home buyer's saved homes. And now my team is going to demonstrate Remark from a home buyer's perspective.
So as you see up here, this is kind of the landing page of the buyer. So the first time you come to the application as a home buyer, you land at the home page here, and you can add a property here at this button. So Kyle will run us through here. This goes for any address you have on the phone. So if a buyer's driving around and they say, I like this home that I see, I want a little more information, I also want to save it for later use, and then I can give it to my agent for them to draw some numbers on what I like. So after we add it here, this is spots where they can have a general notes, something we like, something we don't like. This can be anything. People out there as a buyer, you like the molding that was up in the kitchen, or if the price was maybe 15 grand cheaper, it would be good for you. So it's kind of a spot for a buyer to collaborate with the agent so that they can do it. And some people, face-to-face interaction ain't their good thing, so it's kind of a way for a buyer to maybe hide behind a screen sometimes. And then after we add a home buyer, you can see now it's been added to our save, so we no longer have our add home property. We're going to go ahead and add we're going to look at the suggested listings. So this is where we're using our RESO-compliant APIs. We pull a algorithm together from your saved listings to pull the collection together and then formulate a suggesting listings based on the properties that are given to us from the RESO-compliant APIs. And we're going to add another property here. Yeah, this is suggested from the saved properties. Then is this you clicked into it. So here we're pulling all the data for the suggested listings. You can scroll through our photos that are supplied to us by the APIs. Gives us a range. So the numbers that we have pulled up there are 120% of value on the mean average of their saved, and it's equal or greater to for beds. So we're assuming that a buyer is going to give a base number of value of beds that they like. Then we'll add another property here. Quickly, Kyle. Get another one up here. And you'll see that our suggested listings, after we get this up here, we can go in and edit the save changes. So as a buyer, if you go later and say, I need to change the note on it, maybe it was your number one property saved, but you ran across another one while you're looking there and you want to go change the notes on it, we can go back and change the notes. And then we see after Kyle now has added a second property, our criteria and our suggested properties, so the ones that are for sale, have changed based on our saved listings. For future development, we need to tie in an agent. We don't have a spot right now. We didn't have enough time. Month's a little tight, but we didn't have a spot to be able to add an agent, but that's for future development there. For our front end, we use Ionic, so this can be deployed to Android and iOS. Our back end, or our middle tier, we're using Amazon's mobile hub, so that uses Cognito, S3, Dynamo, and Lambda functions to run the whole bit. So it's serverless, which is nice. It's little projects for us. Any questions we have about it?
Which RESO-compliant APIs did you use?
Bridge.
From the agent's perspective, how would they see your bid?
That hasn't been developed yet, so that's future.
How do you imagine them connecting with your list of favorites?
It would be a way of sending a friend request, or if you're familiar with Facebook, it'd be an ID that you pass back and forth saying, I'm your friend, let's connect. And then as an agent, you would have a collection of buyers that you can click on to and drill into. Good questions. Anything else?
What assumptions did you make on recommended properties, suggested listings?
So we made the suggestion that based on the properties that they're adding, the bedrooms is our biggest one, and then we took the price of the home and we did a range, so 70% to 120% is the range that we're using. That can be adjusted to however the needs of the market or however an agent sees viable, could be changed.
Yeah, it's so we're using Zillow to get all the public data, and then we're doing Bridge to get listings within 1 mile. Also greater than or equal to the same amount of beds and within 70 to 120% of the list price.